If you need an ultra portable laptop that is capable of editing 4K, 6K, 8K, even raw video with phenomenal battery life, the M5 MacBook Air is a surprisingly great choice. But you could also save your money and get 90% of the performance for a much cheaper price with the M4 Air model. Hey, my name is Matt Johnson, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the M5 MacBook Air from the perspective of a video editor. Also, for the sake of ethics, I want you to know this video is not paid or sponsored by Apple. I bought this laptop with my own money. Now, historically, I have been a PC guy. I still use a custom-built desktop as my main computer for day-to-day video editing, and it's true, I am still on Windows 11 most days, even though it's pretty rough right now. But there are plenty of times where I'm traveling and I cannot bring my desktop with me, and it's this point that I need a laptop. And I've used PC laptops for many years, but last year I changed things up and I bought an M4 MacBook Air because I wanted an ultra compact and lightweight laptop that was hopefully still powerful enough to edit videos while I traveled. Thankfully, this proved to be a fantastic decision, with the M4 Air surprising me with just how capable it was, especially considering that it doesn't even have a fan. Editing with this laptop over the past year has been super quick and smooth with phenomenal battery life, and the only time that I ever noticed it was a bit slow was when it came to rendering videos, mostly due to that lack of fan for cooling. So you may be wondering, why the heck would I upgrade? And the answer for me really comes down to storage. I've been extremely happy with the M4 Air, but whenever I purchased it, I chose to only get half a terabyte of storage, and because of that, constantly found myself needing to juggle external SSDs when copying footage to and from it, and it's been, in a word, inconvenient. So, what was my fix? I took advantage of Apple's trade-in program, where I was able to purchase a brand new M5 MacBook Air with 1 terabyte of storage and get paid $755 for my M4. Not bad in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the M5. From an overall build quality and construction standpoint, this laptop is stellar. It's extremely well put together. The trackpad is fantastic. The keyboard is a joy to type on. Apple has really dialed in all of the physical controls, especially after the whole butterfly key kerfuffle from years ago at this point. The only real complaint that I have about this laptop, which also happens to be something I can look past, is the port selection. Just like the M4 Air, the M5 has, well, only 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the side, and I can't help but wish that it had 3, because as a video editor, I'm oftentimes copying footage from one hard drive to another, and more ports are always better. Thankfully, one upgrade that the M5 MacBook Air has over the M4 is with the SSD. The base price of the MacBook Air went up by $100, but with that $100, the minimum SSD size went up from 256 to 512, which I have to say, as someone who also owns a base MacBook Neo with only 256 gigs of storage, that is barely enough to get by, and you will really appreciate having at least 512 gigs of space. Another SSD improvement with the M5 is the addition of a PCIe 5.0 SSD, which is much faster than the M4. And if you are someone who copies a lot of files, you're going to discover that they copy about twice as fast, which is really great. As far as the screen goes too, this is a very color accurate panel, capable of hitting the full Rec 709 and P3 color spaces by my testing, which makes it great for color grading. While the screen is a slight step down in quality from the higher end MacBook Pros, it's not a high refresh rate screen. I have color graded dozens of videos on my M4 screen over the last year, and let me tell you, this M5 has the same screen and it can still very easily get the job done without issue. Now, as I said earlier, I really did not have any complaints about the speed and performance of the M4 MacBook Air whenever it came to video editing, other than these slightly longer render times. From a video editing software standpoint, importing footage into DaVinci Resolve, making cuts, scrubbing around on the timeline, rearranging clips, etc., the M4 was extremely good, but the M5 is still a pretty sizable jump in specs over the M4. In their marketing materials, Apple talked about the CPU being about 10% faster, the GPU is 30% faster, and the memory bandwidth is up to 153 gigabits per second, up from 120 on the M4. More importantly, importantly, and this is not something that Apple publicizes in their marketing material, but the most important factor affecting video editing and render speeds on a MacBook with an M series chip are the hardware encoders and decoders. And it appears in my testing that these encoders and decoders are now faster than the M4. This means less lag and smoother timeline performance and editing speed. And when I tested editing in DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, and Final Cut, I found that the M5 MacBook Air easily handles 4K, 6K, and even 8K H.265 footage easily. And then you're like, well, let's try out some Red RAW footage or some ProRes RAW, etc. And it scrubs through that footage just as smoothly as it did with the M4, which is to say, very smooth, especially in DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut. Unfortunately, the base model MacBook Air is hard for me to recommend if you edit in Premiere Pro. On the other hand, I would look at upgrading the memory to 24 gigs, which may help, or even better, just look at a MacBook Pro, as that should help run Premiere Pro much more smoothly because Premiere really likes a lot of RAM and fast GPU. Remember, I have buyer's guides for the M5 MacBooks that will help you get set up with the right models. If you're a video editor, I will link that video down in the video description. Now, another area of improved performance you're going to see thanks to the faster GPU and enhanced hardware video encoders is video export speeds. There are some wild numbers here. Exporting the same 10-minute project with an M4 MacBook Air and then an M5, I found that in Final Cut, the M5 was 17% faster than the M4, and it only took 3 minutes and 33 seconds versus 4 minutes and 10 seconds on the M4. Resolve was also an impressive 25% faster, taking only 4 minutes and 15 seconds on the M5 versus 5 minutes and 18 seconds on the M4. Lastly, you have Premiere Pro, which was far slower than the other programs to render, but it was still 40% faster on the M5 at only 8 minutes and 4 seconds versus 11 minutes and 18 seconds on the M4. So, like I said earlier, Premiere really likes a lot of GPU power and a lot of RAM, and the extra GPU muscle of the M5 is definitely helping. So as you can see, this is a really nice performance improvement overall, anywhere from 17 to 40% faster with the M5 versus the M4, at least when it comes to video rendering. Now, another area where Apple focused really heavily on in their marketing was in regards to AI, because they've now included neural accelerators in all of their GPU cores of this computer, which can really help with AI workloads. Of course, you may be thinking this is referring to running a local LLM or something like that, which is true, but more importantly for video editors, a lot of video editing effects these days are incorporating AI-powered tools into the software, and most of that is going to be running locally on your machines. And whenever I tested this by loading up the latest version of DaVinci Resolve 21 and testing out the new AI-powered Face Age Transformer tool, I was able to confirm that the M5 does scrub through this footage quicker with this effect implied than with the M4. Unfortunately, this was not enough of a speed increase to enable the footage to play back completely smoothly. It's only playing back at a couple of frames per second here, but this is still a nice improvement and shows us that these AI neural accelerators are working. So here's my overall take on the M5 MacBook Air. In my opinion, this is simultaneously the best ultra compact laptop that Apple makes, but it's also not a revolutionary upgrade over the M4. If you're coming from an M1 through an M3 series, I think you're going to be very happy with the M5 Air. But also, if you can find an M4 Air refurbished or on sale for cheap, that is going to give you a pretty similar experience to what you're getting with this laptop, but for a much cheaper price. I will link to the best prices that I found for the M5 and M4 MacBook Airs down in the video description, as well as to my MacBook buyer's guides for video editors. And while you're down there, I'll also link to my free guide called Edit Videos Like a Pro. That's going to show you my biggest rules that I follow for every single video that I create, and it helps me create better videos. This guide is completely free for you to download, and it's linked down in the video description. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more videos about video editing and MacBooks and things like that. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.